Was there any artists that you were listening to heavy while creating this album?
Tons of artists. I always go back to the soul classics, a lot of Etta James, a lot of Stevie Wonder, a lot of Marvin Gaye, a lot of Prince. So a lot of that.
This is your Audacy Check In with Max.
Woo!
We are at the Hard Rock Hotel, New York, Rockstar Suite with a rock star.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations on the new album, Love
Thank you.
in Stereo. No Dolly Parton feature on here.
We'll see if we can manifest it for the deluxe. We're going to get there.
Remix.
Every interview we have until it happens, we'll just keep manifesting.
Yes.
Keanu Reeves, as we talked about, energy is in this room from a party. We're going to manifest his energy into the Dolly Parton collab. Just keep the good energy going.
Absolutely. You do have some phenomenal collabs on there, though. Talk to me a little bit about how some of those came about.
Yeah, some amazing artists. The main single is called Stupid in Love with Hyun Jin of Le Seraphim. She's awesome. I wrote the song for my wife, who I've told you the story. Of course, we got engaged in 4 months. We got married in 9 months. And so a lot of our family members were kind of concerned that we were being a little silly, being a little stupid. But, I flew her out for our second date on tour and all that, so we were always kind of stupid in love. And so this song came from that. I was in Korea, and I got to try co-writing for Le Seraphim, the group, and I got to meet Hyun Jin while I was there. I saw her perform. I was blown away, sent her the song, and the rest is history. So I'm so grateful because she's a superstar and she's so talented and so sweet. So she's awesome. And then another one is my friend Keshi, who's on It's You. Funny story, slid into his DMs, and then we have become some of the best friends in the world through music. The other night, he came into my house looking like a rock star, and I've never seen my daughter fall in love with someone before at 3 years old. And so he's got all these incredible tattoos, and he's looking great, and her eyes just widen, and she just starts touching his arms and his face and his hair. And it was, I was like, both girl dad, like, oh, at least she has taste, but also, is this going to be my life? She's going to fall in love with rock stars. So yeah, it's amazing features. I'm glad to have them.
Yeah. Was there any artists that you were listening to heavy while creating this album?
Ooh, great question. Tons of artists. I always go back to the soul classics, a lot of Etta James, a lot of Stevie Wonder, a lot of Marvin Gaye, a lot of Prince. So a lot of that. And then funny enough, one of the songs is with one of my favorite artists ever. His name's Duckworth on Say Less. And he was just somebody I was listening to all the time. I just love his music. So it was really fun to kind of make a little dream come true to put him on a song too.
Yeah. Maybe other people can't tell this, but do you notice when you make a project and you're listening to a particular artist heavy, the influence on the album?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think that, especially because I think I've realized that a lot of my albums, maybe I'm the through line, and sometimes the sounds are very different. It's which I like. I like diversifying the sounds on a project. So each song has sometimes a little flavor of an inspiration, with the Say Less one, it's definitely very soul and funky. So definitely more of that world of James Brown and all of those artists that I love. And then the more singer-songwriter songs are maybe a little more Billy Joel. So it's interesting. I definitely notice what I've been listening to in the time maybe gets implanted in the heart of it.
Yeah. Speaking of Billy, he recently said that he didn't come out with this new song for decades just because his heart wasn't in it. And when you hit those speed bumps where you're just feeling very uninspired, do you try to work through it, or do you take a step back and take a break?
You're killing the questions today, baby. I love it.
I love you.
I love you too, brother. I think that's a great question. What I've actually found most recently is I'm really lucky I get to co-write for other artists and groups. And that's actually been a safe space for me, because sometimes I hate myself when I'm writing for myself at times, because I just have a standard that I want to hit, or I want to make sure that it lives up to what we've done in the past or beyond. And just, I think that sometimes co-writing for artists, I can be outside of it and still want it to be the best, but enjoy it and have more fun with it. There's less pressure of the self-hatred, I guess. And it's more of I want to make the best thing for this artist. And so that brings me back to the happy place of what songs are supposed to be.
Yeah. The Grammys this year were, Billy Joel, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell, Tracy Chapman, it was so amazing, the lineup they put together for performers. But what I really loved was just what a celebration of women it was.
Amen.
Did you have a favorite recipient of an award for the night. I love that Victoria Monet.
I was going to say Victoria Monet is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for her. It's a great, amazing mother, just resilient writer. Just like, I'm so glad she's having her biggest moment because she deserves it. So that's one for sure.
And she's been killing it for so long. And like Tyla, she's what, 22?
Yeah.
Taking home a Grammy.
She's a boss. Love her. And then Dua Lipa, who I call my wife Dua Lisa Vanderpump sometimes. So I love Dua Lipa's wonderful. She slayed it.
And seeing her trajectory, like how far she's already come, I think that was one of the best performances she's ever put out.
So cool. Yeah. I just loved the stage work. I loved the cube. It's just, I love seeing artists get to be creative and do something outside of the box, which is what she really did. She actually did something outside of a giant box.
So, yeah, seriously. Do you have like a favorite current singer-songwriter and like of all time?
Oh my gosh.
Female?
Ooh, female. I mean, we're just Dolly Parton, honestly. And I guess why I always come back to her is just, and it's been a self-acceptance thing recently, especially because, we can't help what we've done in our pasts, any of us. And I think this time in my life, these years, I've been the most accepting of my music, of my time on Nickelodeon, on Broadway, and all these things make up who I am, and the same for everyone else. And I think that Dolly's always been an inspiration of, no matter how anybody else feels about her, she brushes it off. She's so resilient. She's so unapologetically herself, and her writing and her heart is what she puts forward the most. And that's so inspirational.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, how do you feel, if you could talk about this, the whole drama with TikTok and record labels right now? Because on one side, I imagine you're like, oh, awesome promo tool for artists. And,
yes.
We're finding artists on there for the first time, but also it's like, pay me.
Yes, that's a real thing. I really feel terrible for so many of my friends that are artists that are being affected, that are rising artists who use TikTok as a tool to, it's very empowering when you start to really just lean into it and some people's lives change. So I feel mostly terrible for those artists. And I think that everybody deserves to be paid what they're deserving to be paid. And it's so hard when it has to do with giant tech companies. But in the end, these are all incredible tools in this day and age where you could be blowing up from a song in your bedroom. And that's such a great thing for all the artists out there who don't have $1 million to spend right away. And so again, that should be, I love that it's a tool that does that. And I hope that every artist gets their rights back to do that. Yeah.
You're OG though. You're like, man, if this all blows up tomorrow, all social media, we'll be good though. Like talent will rise to the top.
I think so. And in so many ways, they're all tools. Like I remember I had some really amazing times on SoundCloud, and each one of these tools, there's great sharing capabilities. They all have their own ecosystem, and it's beautiful to see how we kind of share music, and it's never going to stop. There'll be another tool in a few years, another tool, and as long as the music is right, I think that it'll find its home.
Yeah. What are the Valentine's Day plans?
Valentine's Day plans. It's so funny. I ironically am like the love guy in so many ways. And my wife and I basically at this point, because I feel like I have a project that somehow comes out around Valentine's each year. So we do like 2 weeks of Valentine's. Like we got here and we stayed in the hotel that we stayed in our honeymoon. It's kind of a little tradition of ours, like the day we got here. And so I try to just keep the surprises coming for her.
Bro, you are such a romantic.
I love it.
What the heck?
It keeps me excited. But she loves me. Like I just cleaned my first toilet the other day, which I know is embarrassing, but I'm really trying to step up as a partner.
Valentine's Day.
You'd be surprised. That means the most. She's like, cool. The orchestra you hired for that song, nice. But like seeing you clean that toilet and that really made me happy. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it means something to her.
You know what's cool though? Like, I mean, the toilet, but like all these things, like your daughter sees this and like, that's how these kids learn.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a huge inspiration for me, for whoever her future partner is, to treat her the way that I treat my wife and how she treats me. And that's a great way to want to continue to be the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah. Max.
My brother.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
I love you a ton.
Love you too, brother.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much. Rockstar Sweet. Let's go, Keanu Reeves.